I'm going to go ahead and get started. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to Command Daily Live for Region 12. For those of you that have been here with us before, welcome back. For those of you that are with us the first time, a couple of house cleaning issues for you. And it also makes it a little bit easier for us to know what's going on and who we're talking to. If you would take a minute and look at your screen and click on your lovely little picture, turn that on for me, okay? I need to see faces. I need to know who I'm talking to. It just makes it that much easier. Just like our kids in school need to be one-on-one with their teachers, we need one-on-one with you. So Arby, that's you. Nadia, that's you. I'm talking to you. I call people out. If you know me, then you love me. If you don't, well, then you don't. That's okay too. If I need smiling faces. Second, I need you to put your names on your screen with your market center number, okay? Oh, and the kid says no. I get it. I know how painful that is, right? So your market center number, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's here on the screen. Market center number is not your brokerage number. It's not your affiliation number. It's your KW number for your market center. And basically, that's the order that your market center was launched. All right. Our oldest market center in the region is Market Center 29, which is our Manassas Market Center. And then our most recent addition actually is our Roanoke office, which is 1105. So there are not 1,105 Keller Williams Market Centers at this point. There's just a little over 800. Some offices have come and gone, but every time they launch a new, they're giving a new market center number. So click on your picture, rename yourself, and add your market center number after your name. Thank you very much. We have a lot of information to cover today, especially orientation is always the longest. We may bleed a little over the first hour time frame. If you have to drop at 11, I understand. This session is being recorded, as are all of our training sessions, and will be available to you on our Facebook page and our regional YouTube channel, which we will show you how to access those. Okay. I do encourage you guys to ask questions. However, what I do ask is that you ask questions in chat. Chat is being monitored by our Market Center Tech trainers. Okay, we have Market Center Tech trainers for just about every market center in the region. You'll see their names here on the screen. So look for your market center and see who your person is. That really is your tech person in your market center who can take everything that you're learning on and trying to implement and leverage into your business to a higher degree. So they're a valuable asset for you, so you know who they are. So anyways, they will be monitoring chat. So type any questions in there. They'll be able to address those. I will go open mic at the end. And if I need an open mic or if they need something for me to address in more detail, they'll prompt me and say, hey, we got a question we need to address here on the screen. Does that sound good for everybody? Awesome. All right. So as I mentioned, we're going to jump right into it today. So we're going to talk about orientation today. So a lot about orientation has to understand where we come from, where we're going, and why. Nothing, I think, explains that more if you've been paying attention. We'll see a lot of the acquisitions, the things that have happened. More importantly, Zillow acquiring our very own showing time from the NAR, right? So Zillow has been attacking the realtors for years. We've been propping up. We built their company by allowing them access to our data and paying them for our own leads. And now that has turned on us. And over the last couple of years, more importantly, KW has been under attack by Zillow. And more importantly, your data, your consumers' information. And what do I mean by that? Well, at first they acquired a partnership of ours for a company called Market Leader. Market Leader was our original CRM tool that we built back in 2010 with a third-party company. Then they acquired a platform that we use called .loop. Some of you have been around with us a little while know that we used to use .loop for our digital library and e-signature platform before DocuSign. Zillow also acquired them. So with that happening, Keller Williams, and Gary's always been incredibly vocal in defense of the associates, okay, for all of you, took on a pretty burdensome task to say enough is enough. And we're going to build our own platform and not harvest third-party integrations or what they kind of call bolt-on technology that will always be at risk of being acquired by another organization, whether it's Zillow or anybody else that would potentially put our data at risk. So they've become very strategic in any partnerships that we have. They make our business partners sign data pledges, which basically says, and if you think about your phone, right? You all use apps on your phone, right? This isn't foreign to anybody. Everybody kind of does those things, right? And when you download something, you read all those details when the apps come up and say, hey, we want access to everything. What do? You hit, yep. Go ahead, take it all, right? We do that. However, Gary won't allow that to happen to you through command. So our API, our backend, our integrations are not open to everybody. So sometimes we get questions about, hey, why does this connect to this, that, or the other thing? And it has a lot to do with your data. So they're looking out for you. Building your own platform has all to do about you and your control of your data. It's your information. KW doesn't want it. They want you to have it. They just don't want anybody else to take it from you. So that's why we're going on this journey of building command and all the things that are going on in the back end. So I always think it's important when we kick off these classes to understand the journey and why we're doing what we're doing. And at times it can be a little frustrating because things aren't always what we want them to be in the here and now. The great thing is it's an unfinished product. It's continuously being developed and enhanced. And there are good days and there are great days. And I can tell you where we are 3 years into this platform, it's pretty amazing for something that they build entirely from scratch. And obviously recently we've had some transitioning at the top, but a lot of that was spearheaded by Josh Teams. And Josh did an amazing job for taking something that was an idea, actually making it a reality for us. And now we have the next group of leaders that will kind of take us with Carl and Chris and Mark and Matt and Jason as we continue to move ahead into this realm. So we're going to talk a little about some of the things that you still have access to as we migrate everything into command. There's still a couple other platforms that are running on in the background that you may need a little interaction with, and I'm going to walk you through and tell you what those are. All right, we're going to cover your accessing your email. We're going to access KW Connect. We're going to talk about agent.kw.com, which essentially is command, and answers.kw.com, which is your, for all intents and purposes, your Google for all things command. So I see some of you putting your phones up and taking pictures. That's fine. These are available. Your Market Center tech trainers have these for you. But what I do, and I have these actually bookmarked to my own page. So every day when I log in, this is what opens up on my dashboard. Just a recommendation. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Answers.kw.com. So that is your Google, your all things Google. It's also where you would submit if you have to have a ticket. If something's not functioning for you, that's where you would provide a ticket. Now, if it gets to the point where you feel you need to support a ticket, or if you're having trouble with anything, I do highly recommend you talk to your Market Center tech trainer first. They can help you determine one of three things. One, are you looking for it to do something for you that you just don't thoroughly understand how to do it yet? The great thing about command is that it does a lot. The challenge with command is that it does a lot. We run a lot of platforms in our day-to-day lives, and sometimes having many things psychologically can be easier for one platform that does everything, because it can be a little bit overwhelming in the degree as you learn to use it. If you've never opened command before, or if you've opened it a bunch of times, I ask you to give yourself time to learn it, right? It's not complicated, it just does a lot. And we recognize that. So we're here, right? We're the few organizations that has a full-time dedicated staff of trainers and realtors to support you in your business, right? Market Center tech trainers in your Market Center. A lot of them are licensed realtors. I'm a licensed realtor, right? Have been for 14 years. I'm your regional tech trainer. So I help oversee that program, but I've been on the ground here in Northern Virginia since 2012. I've been with KW since 2009. So I'm not just teaching you how to use a platform because I have a technological background, because I don't. My background is in real estate and customer services, right? But I happen to be the guy that can hook up the stereo the right way. So I can explain these things a little bit to you. That's my background, right? But most things inside of command and the way it was built for systems, models, tools, and leverage, right? So if you've read the Red Book, command makes a lot of sense when we're talking about all the things that you should be doing to build your businesses. And by that, let me stop here and pause and thank you and congratulate you for being an entrepreneur, right? Men and women, you all are individual business owners. And I know a lot of people don't think of it that way, right? You hang your license with KW, but essentially you're building your own business. And this tool is leverage. A lot of people don't like the word technology, and actually I don't, because I think it scares too many people. They think they have to be a programmer, they have to be a coder. Well, you don't, right? You're a business owner, and this is a tool that provides leverage in your world. That's what we want you to have, okay? So answers.kw.com. You'll see at the top of that page when you log in, there'll be a support request. That's how you send in a ticket. Your Market Center Tech Trainer is going to help you determine if you need to send in a ticket. Either they're going to provide you training, or they're going to inform you, say, hey, what you're looking for it to do right now is actually a function it doesn't do yet. And we don't expect you to understand that yet. So they'll give you clarity around it. And then thirdly, is it actually not functioning as expected? And let's get a ticket in there. Now, when it comes to submitting a ticket, it's important that you do submit the ticket and don't ever make the assumption that it must be mass or there's somebody else is going to do it, because we need, like, if something scratches, right, it itches, the more it itches, the more we can get a response and faster get a hot fix, because what's affecting us might not be affecting everybody, and what might be affecting you may not be affecting everybody in your market center. So we always want you, when necessary, to provide that support ticket, and you'll be updated on the process as things are happening, or improvements or changes or fixes are rolled out. So you'll always be informed. So that's really important. Inside of Command, we have help. We'll talk about these little purple bubbles that are inside of Command. There's a QA, which will link you back to answers. Like when you're inside of Command, it jumps to help pages when you say, I need help. All of our market centers in the region use a platform called Scott Leroy Marketing, okay? Scott Leroy Marketing has probably done your setup for your platform. A lot of market centers use that. Scott sends out a lot of great training videos. They're a third-party company that has made their careers off of supporting KW, as he used to be a KW agent himself, and he still might be. But that is a great resources outside of us for training, enhancements, help, and support for you to have access to. ScottLeroyMarketing.com. When you go to log in, it's going to be your market center number. You're not going to have a unique ID, so your access is your market center number. And all of our market centers have access to Scott Leroy at this point. Our regional YouTube channel, okay, youtube.com/KWVAWV Region 12. All of these sessions are recorded and posted on that page. You can subscribe, and every time we add a new training class that maybe you've missed, will be posted there, usually within 24 to 48 hours. We have a Facebook group, facebook.com, kw.va.wva.tech. Ask for permission to join. We're just at about 1,000 members now, which is 25% of the 4,000 KW agents in our region. I'm pretty excited about that. I post all kinds of things on there. I post these trainings, I post updates, I post quick one-hitter announcements of how to do something. We respond to trouble, people looking to do something. The Market Center Tech Trainers will keep an eye on that. Other agents help each other out on that. So it's a great resource for you for all things Command. Here's what I will ask. Don't post your listings in there. Don't post your open houses in there. We'll take them down. This is for tech. This is not for publishing and promoting your business. So I think you can all respect and understand that too. All right, so this kind of goes over the process chart for support. We kind of talked about that. For if you have something, first person, first call should be your Market Center Tech Trainer. Talk to them. They'll give you clarity around training, right, or support, or is it a feature request? And within a couple of days, if you're not getting resolution, they'll escalate that to me, right? And I'll look into it, or I'll go to KWRI directly to say, hey, this needs more attention. Is there something else going on? Now, a lot of times they may come to me and I may be aware of something that I can give them insight. And if I know it in advance, I'll give them insight ahead of the time as well. But this is kind of how things work for us in the region up to KWRI for all things support. We have an interesting dynamic for all things. So the Market Center Tech Trainer works for your market center. I work for the region. None of us work directly for KWRI. However, we get a lot of our direction and feedback through the KWRI channels. So that's just kind of how we're set up. As you guys know, we're all independently owned and operated. Some of you might have a Market Center Tech Trainer that oversees multiple market centers because they're owned by a couple of different groups. That's okay too. So just so you know, that happens as well. And once you guys have all gone through this, we're always looking for great trainers and support to build up and help others. So if that's something you're interested in, talk to your Market Center Tech trainer. I'm going to pause for 1 second because those of you happy, my son is walking in my office because he's bored. 1 second. Sorry about that, but I think many of us have experienced that more than once. They only want to come in when I'm training. It's kind of funny. All right, so we're going to start off on a website called mykw.kw.com. And I'm going to minimize my screen here. I'm going to log in here at the top. So mykw.kw.com is a platform you actually won't access a whole lot anymore. This is where we're migrating away from. However, when you're new and some of your setups, there's a couple things I want you to take notice of and walk through and do. On this page, you'll see your likeness, your profile. This publishes across to other elements online, Google, KW. Oh, what happened there? I hit the wrong button. Oh, this happens interesting sometimes. I will push on buttons and they'll make enhancements and updates. So the profile now is directly to white pages, which is what allows me to search for other agents inside of KW. So it's also a great way for you if you're ever looking for somebody in a particular area or in a market center, you can search them by name. It's like the yellow pages, but it's the KW white pages. I'm going to have to get clarity around the profile. I'll try one more time. Oh, there it is. Maybe I was just off clicking my button. Here's our profile. Your information will be in here. Some of your default, but you may need to add some additional information, right? You're going to hear me talk about biographies a couple of places as we go over the trainings in the next couple of weeks. And I want you to think about your biography as this. You're actually going to need two. One that talks to the consumer and one that talks to KW associates. You're not seeing my screen. Let me check my share. Thank you for letting me know. Let's try that again. See my screen now? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Anybody? There we go. Thank you. All right. So I'm talking about bio here. So this bios, you're going to place them in a couple of places throughout the platform. Your bio will be one for the consumer and one for KW associates. And the reason that you want to have two different ones, once you've been in the business a little while, is that one, you need something to connect with the consumer. Where you're from, what's your hometown, sports, hobbies. It doesn't have to be about production, right? Our associates, all associates, not even ours, all brokers, all realtors, all started at the same number of transactions, which is 0. So don't be paralyzed by fear that you don't have a transaction history to go toe-to-toe with somebody because they all started where you started if you're new. So don't let that worry about it. Let yourself stand out by who you are, where you came from, and what your interests are. Production numbers, you can tie those to your biographies after you've had some success. Plus, you can also leverage what your market center does, right? Secondly, your agent-to-agent bio. We are the largest referral company in the world. We have 180,000 agents passing referrals all over the place. So an online profile to KW will be able to talk a little bit more about your KW background, what trainings you've gone to. Are you a member of the ALC? Are you the tech director? Have you gone to Bold? Have you taken Ignite? How long you've been with KW? All those things matter, but to the general public, they're going to be a little bit confused about that, right? So take your time and give some thought about those two elements of your profile. Down here is just fill in the blank with a lot of other things, your social media presence, your online connections, your contact information. It's important at the bottom of this page, you have a recovery email. What happens if you get logged out of your system? Where does that email go to for a password reset? That's what a recovery email is here. Okay, I'm going to come back to the home page for this. A A lot of these buttons will start to redirect you to different elements as we migrate inside of Command. But if this is the first time you're setting yourself up or you're not sure how to access things, technology is where a lot of the things still reside. One, KW email. Our KW email platform is provided to us through Gmail. Most of us know how to use Gmail at this point, but you're using a KW and @kw.com provided email, but essentially it's a Google Gmail platform, right? Now, I'm going to say something, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I know this to be true. A lot of you are still using a freemium email service, right? Dave@gmail.com, Dave@AOL.com, Dave@hatmail.com, Dave@livewire.com, and you're using them in your business. Don't do that. You're a business owner now, right? At a minimum, you should be using your KW branded email because it lets the general public that you're a realtor and who you're with, right? Thirdly, you will be able to, when you start branding yourself, have your own custom vanity domain, right? DavidDonaldson.com or DonaldsonHomeGroup.com. Think about where you're going to go and where you're going to build your business. Now that has to be licensed. So always talk to your broker first. There are certain elements that you have to do, but you could actually have an email, David@revolutionre.net. Now, if that's a business you own, it's an LLC and your license, you can create a Google Business Suite email address and use that in your business. That's the highest level. That's the best way to go. So stay away from the free mail. At a minimum, use the KW. And then when you grow, use a premium service to brand yourself. Just some clarity around the email. The first time you sign up for email, you'll see it under there, sign up email. And it'll ask you to choose your name. Most of you at this point probably already have something, and it'll say, hey, I already have an email account. Great. Then you can go to manage your email. Under manage your email, you can reset your email password. Okay, that's what happens right here. You can also make sure your recovery email is in line. So if you haven't reset your email, and you're still using the one that was provided for you, I do recommend you change that. Okay. Remember, this is only going to change your KW provided email. Now, also under technology, there is a change password button. Now, this change password is resetting your password for your KW systems. Remember, Gmail is Gmail. Some agents will make their Gmail and their KW access the same. For security purposes, I would encourage you not to do that, but I know certain agents that will. Okay. Your KW password will give you access to all the KW systems. Okay. mykw.kw.com. agent.kw.com, kwconnect.com, your Kelly app, okay? All your KW services will be through your user ID and password. So make that unique, make that special to you, and you can change it here. Now, if you can't get into here because you've forgotten your email, okay, I'm going to log out. On command itself, agent.kw.com, you're going to see a forgot password button. So you would need your user ID. So make sure you write that down. It's usually your first initial and last name. But if you're not sure, you can check your white pages. Okay. Click forgot password, and it's going to go to that password reset email that you have set up. So that's how you would refresh and reset that email if you happen to log yourself out. All right. So let me come back here. Go to my home page. All right, and on the upper right-hand side of your MyKW page, at the bottom, you're going to have intranet. Intranet, so a lot of your market centers still use an online calendar. So the reason I point this out is I want you to go in here and set up your settings for this, because you can sync your office calendar, which has all of your trainings and your events that are going on, and you can sync them to your iCal or your Google Calendar. So you go to your market center intranet, you'll see a calendar over here on the right-hand side, but if you go to your profile, okay, you can go to edit preferences. And then at the bottom of the edit preferences page, you're going to see the ability to sync a calendar subscription. Right here. I know I'm stepping through a lot of things, but remember, you can always go back to this after and double check these things. You can also say, how do you want to be noticed? This is what all these notifications are going on this page. All right, so that's about as much as I'm going to cover under my KW at this point, because like I said, we're moving away from a lot of that. The next that I want to show you is KW Connect. KW Connect, or kwconnect.com, okay, is our essentially YouTube for KW only. There's a lot of cool things in here, and I'm going to show you a couple of pages that you may want to bookmark once you're going in there and plugging around. Now, this also, you'll log in with the same user ID and password that I showed you previously. There's a profile here. This is your agent-to-agent profile. This is what KW agents will see and not the general public. So you want to go in here, you'll want to edit your profile, get a header, your signature, your bio, social media pages, areas of service. And then you have some display buttons that you can turn on or off that you may or may not want other agents to know about you. It's entirely up to you, unique to you. Now, if I come back to the Connect homepage, I'm going to highlight a couple options. You could literally be in here for days. There's so much information in here, but I'm going to highlight a couple of the important factors for you as you kind of go in and kind of play around. So first, you're going to see calendar. So this will actually be pulling things from your region and your market center and showing you some trainings that may be going on. I still like the market center calendar because I don't think everybody has them set up at the market center level wide, but this will be pulling in some regional things that you may be interested in as well. So it's good to know that that's what that calendar is. Next to that calendar, we've got training. Under training, this one's important to take notice of, Connect Live. So Connect Live is similar to our Command Daily Live for our region, but it's put on by KWRI International, where people like myself or your market center tech trainers or trainers from around the country are talking about certain subjects or topics inside KW, not just technology, that you can attend. And what I encourage you all to do are, sometime on Saturday or Sunday, as you're setting up your weekly calendar, take a look at what trainings are going on for this week and time block for those. Now, in our KW world, everything is in Central Time. And what that means to us is that it's an hour off. So we're always an hour later than Central. So 3 o'clock Central is 4 o'clock Eastern. Just takes a little getting used to, but we do everything in KW's world is in Central Time. So if I was to take a look at what's going on today, we're going to see a couple of trainings are working through care calls. Like I said, not everything is tech related, right? Care calls is how do you talk to people, right? Personalize your private listings for growth, leverage your resources and make your first hire, right? How do you find that first admin, right? How do you work within a 411? Tomorrow, we're going to talk about smart plans, walk through smart plans. They like to hit topics from different directions, but you go through here, you can kind of see what's going on and what you might be interested in a particular week. And then those are also recorded and will always show up on the left-hand side, usually within 48, 72 hours of Connect Live on demand, where you can go back and rewatch one of those KWRI provided sessions, just like we have them on our region level. All right, next to that, we've got resources. A couple of things here. Marketing, if you're new, or even if you're not new, there's a great brochure, 33 pages of how to, specific information to use KW logos in your personal branding, because you're allowed to have personal branding, but there's certain elements of KW's logo that you have to use, and that's spelled out here under marketing. And it's also where the majority of you, not all market centers have a KW market center logo, but if you do, you can go in here and you can search for it and download different versions of that logo to utilize inside of your business. All right. There's a welcome new associates header, which is great for you, step-by-step of what you should be doing over your first 100 days. Quick links to trainings that are built inside the platform. What should you be doing next? We cover a lot of this through our trainings, but this kind of fills in the gaps. Good for you to know and maybe bruise through here and see what information is available to you. Technology, okay, you're going to see tech-enabled agent and command your business. Tech-enabled agent is an overview of everything that's available to you. It's a pretty cool little layout and page. Command your business is more of bite-sized trainings. Like, so my trainings are usually about an hour, And the KW trainings are anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour. But these Command Your Business sessions are pre-recorded trainings that are more bite-sized. We're talking anywhere between 3 to 7 minutes, quick hitter topics inside of Command that you can slowly meticulously work your way through from top to bottom. So like for you, literally, we go in here and I look at recommended training under about my database, right? Then I'll see different sessions, and each of the sessions have different videos that are broken down into smaller bite-sized pieces that you can slowly work your way through. Great thing about KWRI, and a lot of people don't understand this, is that we're worldly recognized as by Forbes as one of the top training companies in the world. I'm not just talking real estate. I'm talking in all industry, right? So KW as a whole does some amazing things, and we provide training in a lot of different avenues because we recognize, like our kids, not everybody learns the same way, right? So you've got one-on-one at your market center, you've got live trainings like we do, live trainings through KW, bite-size on your own, on demand. We try to cover everything. And as you see on answers.kw.com, there's fact pages. Some people just like to read and process that way. So lots of options for you to go down. All right. Technology, referrals. We're going to cover referrals in our referrals class, which will be a week from Thursday. And those are the big things. Those are the big things inside of Connect. I do encourage you to go in there and take a look, but those are the most important things for you that are new across the top. All right, let me just check my slides real quick, see if I'm missing anything. All right, we're going to jump into Command now. And today's day one, so it's orientation. And it's probably the most amount of information you get thrown at you at any one time. And that's okay. Don't be overwhelmed by it. It's just passwords and emails that we're really just kind of displaying for you at this point. But a couple of things I'm going to show in here is going to be setting up Command. It's not utilizing Command, but it's how to access and navigate and move around inside of the platform. So, all right, so I can go back to my page. I want to make sure everybody still see my screen okay? And get a thumbs up. Awesome, thank you. So now my command is going to look a little bit different for yours on a couple of different regions. One, I've been using it for a while. And two, I have access to some things and some training elements and some what we call labs. So I'm testing things out. So not everything on my screen is what you'll see on yours, and that's okay. I'll point out as much as I can. Sometimes I don't even know everything I have access to because things kind of come and go as we're playing around with it on the back end. When you first come into Command, what I like to tell everybody is if you click on the red KW in the upper left-hand side, you'll see a bump out for what we call applets. Now, if you think about Command like your phone, it's your platform. And on your phone, you have all kinds of apps that you use in your day-to-day world, right? So this is what Command is for you. It's not just a CRM. It has a CRM, but it does much, much more that we'll take a deep dive into as we're moving forward over the next couple of weeks, right? So down the left, I'll just kind of give you some insight to what you're going to see in here. Home, that's your home page, right? That's what you're seeing right here. Contacts is actually your CRM. That's your database. It's where your contacts, your information, all the communication that you do with everybody will be housed underneath contacts. That's your CRM. Tasks. What do I need to do today for people? Who do I need to call? Are there emails? Are there things that have to happen to close a transaction? Are there people on my team that need to do things? What has to happen today for me to move transactions ahead? That's what we'll see under tasks. Smart plans. Smart plans are our set it and forget it communication in the background to talk to our consumers, right? Part of it might be prompting me to make a phone call. Part of it might be sending out an email. Part of it might be setting out property information to a particular client. It might be me sending out an invitation to a party or a client event. It might be sending out a text message. Smart plans are custom and created and curated for you in any way you want to use them. We'll have a class on that on Wednesday. Referrals. I previously mentioned that KW is the largest referral company in the world. This is our referral platform. You can send referrals on the back end from agent to agent. My last 2 transactions, commission-wise, were through referrals. I sent one to Naples, Florida, and I sent one to Gainesville right here in Virginia. Opportunities. Opportunities, I want you to think of that as your digital whiteboard. Everybody have a whiteboard in their office, or anybody seen a whiteboard hanging around in an office, right? Opportunities is your digital whiteboard, so you no longer have to write all that stuff down on the board and erase it and get your hands all dirty, right? This is all on your display on your desktop at a click of a button. So we'll get into that on Thursday. Campaigns. Campaigns is your marketing information. It is your social media posts, it's flyers, it's listing presentations. There's some video in there. There is, believe it or not, your own branded magazine that's available. There's 1,500 different design templates that are available to you inside of KW Designs. And if you're familiar with a platform called Canva, this is essentially Canva, but for KW. And the one step above it has over Canva is it has all the listings in it. So where Canva, I would have to upload photography. And here in Designs, it already has all the listings, not just yours, all of them, that you can go in and pull pictures from. So it's a really great ease of use type of platform. Campaigns. Well, what are we going to do with these designs once we've created them? We're going to do a social media ad. Are we going to post something to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter? I'm going to post something to my business page. Do I need to send out an email? Am I going to attach it to a smart plan? Those are campaigns. Those are things that happen in the background. They're a little bit different than the smart plans. There's a little bit of overlap, but there's some difference there too. Reports. What's going on in my world? How much production have I have? Do I have a healthy database? Am I calling people? Am I productive? Am I hitting my goals? That's your reports mechanism on the side. I touched on designs. Listings, I touched on, we have all the listings that you need that are in the KWLS or in the MLS or in KWLS. And in consumer, we'll cover this on Monday. Consumer is your website, it's your mobile app and your KW provided associate website. So that's consumer. So these are the items that we will talk about over the next 8 sessions, Monday through Thursday for the next 2 weeks. On your homepage, as you scroll across, you see your name in the upper right-hand side. Underneath your name, you're going to see profile and then settings and then training. Actually, you won't see training yet. That's an app that I'm testing. Sorry. This profile links to that agent to agent profile that I talked about on your Connect website. So whatever's there, you'll see here under profile. This profile is not the one that your consumers will see. Okay, so I remember mentioned there was 2. This is what the agents see. If I come back here and I scroll down to settings, there's a couple things I'm going to outline for you. First is where you find your marketing profile. So once you land on this page, on the left-hand side, you'll see Connect Settings over here on the left, and it says Marketing Profile. I want you to take the time to complete your marketing profile. It should be one of the first things that you do because it feeds to just about everything we do. And every day when we talk about training one of these applets, you're going to hear me reference, have you filled out your profile yet? Because it affects everything. You should have a headshot, a professional headshot. You should have a logo if you're on a team. Okay? You're going to have your logo if you're in a market center. Don't load your market center logo under team logo. Okay? Your details, you'll see something asterisk red. That means you have to fill this information in. This is your bio. This is your agent to consumer bio, right? What does the consumer want and need to know about you? Contact information, brokerage information, compliance. Compliance just needs to say this. Each office is independently owned and operated, because we are. That has to be in compliance. Legal footer, you don't need to put anything there. You can put your social media connections, your Facebook page, your business page, your Twitter page, right? Instagram. And if you know what these are, then you'll use them. If you don't know what these are, then you don't need to worry about it. It's tracking. Google Analytics and Pixel IDs. If you get into enhanced usage, this will mean something to you. For the newer associates, not something I'm going to really take a look at for you at this particular time, but something you may get involved with later as you start doing a lot more advertising online and you start to track your analytics. But that's what we're talking about here. Okay. And then you'll have the KW branded app that you may need to come back here. If this hasn't defaulted in here for you yet, you will know what your KW link is for your mobile app when we go through consumer on Monday. Actually, we'll get it at the end of class today. All right, so I'm going to come back to the home page. Actually, I'm not, sorry. I'm going to go back to settings, underneath your picture here, and I want to click on settings. Now, underneath settings, you're going to see certain plugins or interactions with other types of media, okay, that we utilize in our day-to-day world. Now, the layout that you see your screen is different than mine if you haven't set certain things up, but I will touch on each of these. You all have, or most of you have access to DocuSign through your Market Center. Let me rephrase that. You all have access to DocuSign. Not every Market Center is using it yet, okay? If you're using DocuSign, you need your unique KW account that you would need to connect here, okay? Get with your broker or your Market Center tech trainer to make sure which platform you're using. I know some are still using .loop, but DocuSign is our free version of what we have available for the associates now. Facebook post scheduling. You'll see that Facebook is actually on here twice. There's a post scheduler and there's an ads manager. When you connect your Facebook account, okay, it's going to connect using your personal Facebook account, because in order to have everything, that's the starting point. Now, you will not post anything directly to your personal account through command. You will only be able to run ads or post to your business page. But in order for command to see those profiles, those business pages, you have to connect your personal page. So that's what it's asking for here. And then once you connect that, it'll ask you to choose which pages you are an admin or an owner for that you will be able to post directly to. And once we do campaigns training, we'll talk about post scheduler and running ads, but those will be integrated with Facebook. Porch is something that you can utilize. We don't take a deal. It's a third-party integration that allows you to get quotes for homeowners to get an understanding of what costs of repairs might look like. So you might want to take the time to take a look at and creating, connecting a Porch account. It is free to you, but you can set that up through your system. Gmail. I do highly encourage you to connect your KW Gmail account. When you start utilizing your KW account in your business, or if you have an enhanced KW account like I do for my real estate business, and you connect that account through Gmail or through Office 360, if you're using that, it'll pull those emails and attach them to your contact records. We'll see that in more detail tomorrow. But any email you send to your consumer from your Gmail account, it'll track inside of command and say, hey, it knows that I sent Ted an email this week on Saturday. So that is how that tracks on the back end. If any of you are coming from another organization or have your contacts in a different format from a different CRM tool, PieSync is one of the options we have to kind of harvest some of that data to pull in. And I will tell you that if this applies to you, that you should talk to your Market Center tech trainer, and they'll give you a detailed understanding of how to connect this, pull either your Google contacts or any of your other CRM contacts. They're not all connected, right? But there's a great way to be able to pull some of that. We can use PieSync or another platform called Zapier. Okay, more advanced stuff, but just so you know what you're looking at there. We just touched on Ads Manager. Same goes for Twitter and Google AdWords. So if you're using those, you can connect your accounts. .loop, like I said, I don't think anybody else is still using .loop, but if you are, you connect your .loop account here. Google Calendar. At the moment, Calendar is not integrated. It is connected, but not integrated into command. So what that means, if I actually go to a contact record and I say schedule an appointment with Ted, then my calendar will pop up and allow me to schedule an appointment. It doesn't pass information back and forth right now. That's some enhancements we'll see down the line. At the bottom of your page, you're going to see Command Email, MailChimp, and Twilio. Two of these we use in our day-to-day. One is a paid-for play that some of you might be using in your business now. Command Email, you're going to want to manage and connect your external email. So what happens is, we'll touch a little bit more when we get into smart plans and campaigns, but KW, outside of the Gmail platform you're given, okay, has an email service provider that sends out emails on your behalf. And it's essentially, it would be your name, your KW user ID at mail.kw.com. Now, this is not an email that you will need to brand or use or one that you will actually give to anybody, and you'll use your KW email. But when the system automatically sends things from command to your consumers, That's the from email. It'll say your name. So your consumers will see your name. It won't be confusing to them. But it might be different than the KW email address you use on a regular basis. And that's simply just how most platforms are built on the back end for tracking purposes. But you want to set this up with your reply to email. So if they respond to that email that was auto-generated or sent it out from command for you, by you, to your consumers, that when they click respond, it goes to the email address that you want it to go to. It might be your KW. It might be that enhanced version email that I touched on. Some of you are going to do what you're going to do, and you're going to use that free Gmail service anyways, right? But you can put your reply to email in here, and you don't want to do that. You're given 5,000 emails a month, okay? You get into business, you may see yourself going higher than that. You can pay to use more, okay? In the beginning, most agents, unless you're really a highly functioning team, the threshold of 5,000 is going to take you a while to have to worry about, and that's per month. So if you think you need more than that, I'm going to encourage you to talk to your Market Center tech trainer for clarity around what you might be doing in your business. All right. The other thing you have here is Twilio. Is anybody familiar with Google Voice? Some of you maybe. Okay. Twilio is what we use. And I use Google Voice as an example, but it's subtly different. Google Voice is for calling, or at least that's what I do. I know there's a texting backend, but I use it for calling. Right? I have a 480 number because I came from Arizona that I kept, but I have a local number, 703, that I got through Google Voice. So I use it on my signs and things, advertising for local business to my local number. This Twilio number is a texting option for you that's built into Command. Okay, you can text as part of your smart plans, things go out automatically for you to your consumers. We can't configure it to use your personal text number. It just doesn't work that way. But you can get and subscribe to a Twilio number, which I encourage you to do. It's incredibly cheap, and it's really, really nice to have for ease of communication with your consumers. Go in here, configure, and set up an account. And what you do, it's going to ask you to choose a local number. Now, they only have so many local numbers. So I don't know if you're at 703 or 571 or 202. You can see what's available. 703 are the hardest to come by. And that may change day to day as what numbers are available because people add and delete phone numbers. But they only have so many in the account, okay? So you might have to go into a different local area code to utilize. Once you've created a number, okay, then you're going to set up your account because you're going to have to set up a subscription. The lowest subscription is $3 a month. Maybe it's like $3.16, I think. And that'll get you 300 text messages a month. The next level is 1,500 text messages a month, or they're not even text messages, what we call text credits per month, because depending on the text you're sending, you get charged either between 1, 2, or 3 credits, depending on what's happening. And then there's also a call forwarding option, because what happens is people might receive a text from you and try to call you, and they're calling you on your text number. So if you set up this call forwarding, what we'll ask you to do, that text number will be forwarded to your phone number, so you don't miss a call. So they charge you 3 credits a minute, and they charge you 6 credits for that connection. But remember, we're talking tenths of a penny here, right? So I encourage you to set that up. And if somebody were to call you on this number, I don't think you should hang up and call them back to save a couple of shekels. Take the call, eat the credit usage, right? Somebody went out of their way to call you, don't ever disconnect with them, especially if it's somebody you don't have a relationship with. So just some clarity there. So that's Twilio. Our relationship with Twilio is a good one, and it's continuously evolving. So we're going to see more and more functionality out of that. But right now, that is the basic functions that we have available to you, is the text, the call forwarding, right? And when you send text, there's 3 types, right? There's a traditional text, which will use 1 credit. That's basically anything that's of characters less than 160 characters, right? That's just a quick text. There's a multimedia text, which I send a link, a photo, emoji written. They'll charge you multiple credits. And then there's the really long, we get these, right? Text messages that are more like an email. They're so long. And depending on that length of over 160 characters, then you'll get charged additional credits for that. That's all spelled out. You can go ahead and take a look more about that. I encourage you to do that. Before you sign up for anything, you want to be informed. I'm just kind of giving you the high buttons or high level information here. So those are the main things that are on your settings page. You also have a marketplace where there's a lot of information in the back end of the marketplace that I'll reference throughout the time. That's where there's all kinds of other vendors that we do offer that agents can pay for additional services for. These are outside of KW, okay? But they're that approved vendor by KW when I talked earlier about that data pledge. So they're approved to do business with us. So you can surf the marketplace and check any myriad of topics that you might be utilizing inside of your business. So I do encourage you to do that. All right, I'm going to come back to the home page just by hitting the little house over here on the left and talk to you a couple things over the last 10 minutes about setup that you may want to take advantage of. So first and foremost, you see this guided tour. So this is these purple boxes that I was talking about. So as we roll things out, or the first time you might start doing things, you're going to see these purple boxes that will walk you through how to do things. Or you can always go back to the purple boxes if you forgot, okay? Now you also have this question mark over on the right-hand side, which will show you the guided tours that are available to you, and they're building those out inside of Command right now. There'll be a list of different guided tours. There's KW University, which will allow you to search by topics, right? Find additional support. There's chat with support, right? You can always get online and say, hey, I'm having trouble accessing or downloading or doing whatever. Here's the challenge with support right now. And this is why I do encourage you to go to your Market Center Tech Trainer first, if they're available and if you can connect with them. A lot of the agents will still use support, okay, for training. And that can bog up the chat. If people would only use it for actual support related issues, they could get things quicker and respond to you faster, okay? They have to respond to everybody that either leaves a message or reaches out to them in chat. So understand that if you're asking for training help, they're still going to reach back out to you, but it's going to slow up everything that's going on. So that's why I really hammer home the point to, hey, talk to your Market Center Tech Trainer before you end up sitting on a really long chat sometimes. I don't ever want that to happen to you. Minimize here. And then there's also post an idea. The other great thing about Command, you'll hear us say that it's an a platform built for our agents by our agents. You can actually go to post an idea or go to ideas.kw.com and you can recommend that, hey, you would like to see Command do something, or you can search other agents that have recommended that Command does an enhanced version of what it currently does, and you can vote them up. And I will be completely honest with you, and I know this to be true. Every Monday, Gary Keller, Jason Abrams, okay, Carl Lieber, and Chris Cox on their morning huddles and their calls will surf the ideas and see what are the hot topics our agents are suggesting, what are the new recommendations that our agents would like to see out of our platform. They take that very seriously. So again, don't overlook the opportunity to provide some insight, because there might be something you recommend and someday you may be shocked to see inside the system and you get to kind of say proudly, hey, I had something to do with that, right? That's really, really cool about a platform like this. All right. Now, the other thing I'm going to point out to you on this home screen is that you get to customize your home screen. So you click this blue button in the upper right-hand side, okay, and this will be a familiar format as we do different things inside of Command. You're going to see a list of items on the left that are checked off, and you may or may not want to see all of these things on your home screen, right? You might say, you know what, right now I'm not on a team, or I'm not generating leads, or I don't need my notepad, but I do want to know my tasks, product updates, what my goal, how I'm at against my goals, what design ideas. That's KW telling you, hey, here's some new releases inside of the designs element, and what does my overall health score look like? If I click apply, before I click apply, you also have the ability to move these tiles that I turned on or off. You see they click on turn on off. I get to change where they're laying out on my home screen. And you can do this at any time. You can always rearrange and change. And then once you hit apply, then you'll see your home screen will reflect those tiles that you said, hey, these are important to me and that I want to see on my home screen, right? So you've got your goals here. I like product updates because what you'll see here, and you'll see this is dated March 3rd, KWI is transparent about what they're doing. So you'll get updates weekly, bi-weekly, depending on how regular we're releasing or providing updates, saying here's fixes, enhancements, changes. They will embed training articles if necessary, okay? But you'll always be up to speed on what's going on inside the platform and what's new. You'll probably get it from your Market Center Tech Trainer first if you're attending trainings in your Market Center or team rallies, but they're always going to be here on your homepage too. Design updates, what new designs are being showcased inside of the designer, okay? What tasks do you have to, like I might move this, I do a lot of training, but if I was in fully practicing real estate, I'd probably move my task list to the top, right? My health score, what's the percentages of people in my database that I have phone number, email addresses, because without clear, coherent information, how do you really have a relationship with somebody? We'll take a deeper dive in that when we go over contacts tomorrow. We're doing good on time, 5 minutes to go. That's really just about everything no, that's not true. There are two other things. Sorry. Does everybody have their phone out? Everybody pick up their phone. I'm going to give you a couple of quick things I think you want to download today and play around with. Okay, first, I want you to go into your app store, whether it's Google or Apple, doesn't really matter. I want you to download 2 apps. One's going to be your KW Mobile Realty app. Okay, that's basically your consumer search app. We'll take a deeper dive on Monday, but I want you to have it and I want you to brand it to you. When you first configure it, it's going to ask you to create an account. Now, you need to understand the consumer app is a consumer app. You're not going to log in with your KW user ID and password because it doesn't know who you are. Okay, it's going to think of you as a searcher, as a user, as a consumer. So what I do encourage you to do is create an account, but maybe make it a practitioner account. Mine is under my son's brand name, right? It's not under my name and my email address because the system will not know what to do with that. So create a dummy account for you to play around and utilize. It could be your name, but maybe use a different email than your KW email. Play around with it, search on it, surf on it, play with it. And when we get in the consumer next week, you have a little bit of a working understanding, but we'll take a deep dive. Second app I want you to download is called Kelly, K-E-L-L-E, not E-Y. Okay, she was KW's first command mobile app. She's being sunset. She does not do a whole lot anymore. But for those of you that are as old as I am, you will understand this reference. The first app was a KW mobile app. Second one is Kelly. Kelly is a pager. That's really all she is at this point. She's a pager for notifications. So if you have a consumer that contacts you, reaches out to you, you have a new lead, she'll buzz and say, hey, you've got a new notification. And you're going to want to log into command to get their contact information. Pulling their contact information from Kelly right now, because she's being sunset, is not going to work the way that we want it to or that you expect it to. I'm just being transparent and honest with you right now, okay? The third thing that I will encourage you to do from your phone. Now, this will work better on Android than it does on Apple, but I'll discuss it in both ways. If you're an Android user, I encourage you to log in to Chrome browser, okay? Go to agent.kw.com like you're logging in on your dashboard and log in. Once you do that, you hit the 3 buttons in the top right-hand side on your page and click Add to Homepage. What you've essentially just done is create a hot link to your command dashboard on your phone that will function very much like a mobile app. Right? It's not built to be a mobile app, but it'll work very, very much like that. So if you get a Kelly notification when somebody's new, you can go right to that version of your command desktop and get their information and call them. So it's what we call a workaround. I don't like workarounds, but that's what we have right now as they build a truly functioning, integrated command mobile app that we hope to see sometime this year. I do expect to see it sometime this year. But now, if you're using Apple, you can't add to home from Chrome on Apple. So you have to do that through Safari. So if you go to Safari and log into agent.kw.com, should be able to do the same thing, add to home screen, and have a direct link to your command desktop on your phone. So those are the 3 things that are important for you to download and start playing around with. And each day it'll get a little bit easier for you. All right, 10:59, right on the button. With that, are there questions? And feel free to raise your hand or hold the space bar and ask an open mic question for anything that I may have missed or that you need clarity around from today's class.
Hi, David. You mentioned CRM. What does that mean? What does it stand for?
Client Relationship Manager. So contact, it's your database.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Ted or Shirley, is there anything that got glazed over inside of chat that maybe I needed to add a little bit more detail to? Or is there any other questions that anybody has?
Hi, David. So I'm still new to Keller Williams, but I have a question. So what is the difference? Like, I kind of have an understanding of smart plans and, for example, how to send emails, but what is the difference between like MailChimp and smart plans? Like, isn't it the same?
Smart, we're going to go into a little bit more detail on that on Wednesday, but Smart Plan utilizes email like MailChimp or a command email. I won't spend a lot of time talking about MailChimp because our command email essentially is the same thing.
Oh, okay.
But MailChimp is a third-party purveyor for email systems and integration that will send things out. Our smart plans, as you will learn, allows you the creativity to build what those emails are, what those text messages are, incorporating designs, incorporating flyers that will be sent out through a vehicle, which is either MailChimp or command mail.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Good question, though.
Thank you.
Hey, David, this is Shirley. No further questions on the chat that we're not already in.
Well, if there are no more questions, we're going to pick back up tomorrow at 10 o'clock and we're going to take
Use your KW login.
I'm sorry? Did I miss a question? There was something about a KW login?
I think she was unmuted.
Oh, gotcha. Perfect. Thanks. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to do contacts. And what's nice this week, so for the last month, I've been doing all the trainings. My Market Center Tech trainers, your Market Center Tech trainers are going to start doing some of these trainings. So you won't always be hearing from me, which is really awesome because you get that from a different perspective from somebody else. I'll be on all the classes and I'll be attending and filling in chat. But tomorrow we're going to have Jerry joining us and he's going to be teaching us all about contacts tomorrow. So please come back and join us at 10 o'clock every day for the next 2 weeks. And we will walk through every one of these elements from you. And you'll be able to rewatch because they're recorded. You'll be able to ask questions in real time. And we'll give you all the information we can. And the cool thing is we always open up starting on the previous day. So if there's any questions from what you learned on today that you need clarity around, we'll address those at the top of the hour tomorrow. So
hey, David, quick question. Are you also the Market Center Tech person for Kingstown?
No, I am not.
No.
But I can talk to you about that if you need help with somebody because they don't have one right now.
Okay.
Okay, I was about to ask that. Okay.
I have a specific question for you. I guess I'll just contact
Sure,
you.
go ahead.
Yeah. Should I just contact you after the call? It's
specific to me, sure. Yeah, you can email me and just so you all have my contact information. DavidDonaldson@kw.com.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Kingston doesn't have somebody, so right now, absolutely, you can reach out to me. That's not a problem. All right, with that, I'm going to end the call. You all have a wonderful Monday. Go out and sell something.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day all.
Bye.